It's the year 1723. A young village girl named Sarah is walking through the fields on her way home to help her mother for supper. Sarah comes from a common household of hard-working farmers. They are not rich, and they are not of nobility. They live in a quiet little village nestled along a lake, in the shadow of the river's Manor, the ruling class of the valley. As Sarah walks through the door, she greets her mother. "Where have you been?" her mother asked. "Just walking through the fields and reading my book," Sarah replied. "This letter came for you this morning," her mother said. When Sarah opened it, a wide smile came across her face. "I got it!" she exclaimed. "I got it!" "Got what?" her mother asked. "This is a letter from the river's Manor. There was an opening for a servant girl, and I've been accepted," Sarah gleefully replied. No, said her mother. "I will not allow it. There's a reason there's an opening at the Manor. There's always eventually an opening up there. Sarah, do you know how many young girls have went to work there and then just disappear?" "Oh, Mother, that's nonsense. You're acting like there's something nefarious going on there." "I'm sure there's a reasonable explanation for that. People move on, you know," said Sarah. "There's nothing you can say to change my mind. I know you and Father are having troubles with the farm. We need the money. I start tomorrow." Despite her parents' objections, Sarah started out early the next morning towards the Manor. When she arrived, she introduced herself to the head butler, Reginald. "Hello, sir. My name is Sarah." "Ah, yes, the new servant girl," Reginald replied. "You are just in time, my dear. We're completely swamped. We're in a rush trying to get ready for the party tonight, and we're already missing 2 girls." "Where do you need me, sir?" Sarah was eager to get started. "I will put you on decorations, then you can help in the kitchen," replied Reginald. Sarah went about her tasks, making the Manor look festive for tonight's party. Lord Rivers always threw the most lavish parties in the land, and tonight would be no exception. Sarah then went to the kitchen and helped with the hors d'oeuvres. But when it was time to prepare the main course, she and the other servants were ushered out and given another task to complete. "What was that?" Sarah asked another servant, named Julie, who she had become quick friends with. "Lord Rivers, Mother and his sisters always prepare the main course. It's always quite secretive. For some reason, the servants are never allowed in the kitchen when they are preparing the main course," whispered Julie. Just then, Reginald appeared from around the corner. "Back to work, ladies. No time for talking." "Yes, sir. Sorry, sir," as the 2 ladies walked away. Sarah noticed a strange look on Reginald's face, but didn't think much about it and went back to work. It was now 8 in the evening. The Manor was decorated, the food was prepared, and the guests started to arrive. Sarah spent the party serving hors d'oeuvres. Then, when it was time for the main course, she served wine at the table. The party went off without a hitch, as the village's wealthiest families wined and dined. Then, at the stroke of midnight, the party came to a close. The servants cleaned up and headed back home to the village. Sarah and Julie hugged and said their goodbyes and told each other they would see them at work the next morning. Sarah walked in and saw her mother still waiting for her by the fireside. "What are you doing still up?" asked Sarah. "Waiting for you to get home from that evil place." Sarah laughed. "What are you talking about? The Manor was beautiful. Everyone was nice and pleasant to work with. I even made a friend, a nice girl named Julie. And as you can see, I made it back in one piece." "Don't get smart with me, girl. You're not too old to feel the back of my hand, child." "I'm sorry, Mother. I'm tired, and I'm going to bed. I have to get to work early in the morning." Sarah continued to work at the Manor with no problems for a month. becoming best friends with Julie and enjoying each day she worked at the manor. The parties she looked forward to each week and the money she brought home to her family gave Sarah great pride. Sarah saw no problems at the manor, even brushing off her mother's worries when another servant girl disappeared. Sarah always told her mother the same thing. Reginald told me she moved away, or Reginald told me she fell in love and quit, or Reginald told me this and that, etc., etc. Sarah was excited to get to work this day. It was the night of the weekly party, and it was her 1-month anniversary of working at the manor. When she arrived, she got her assignment from Reginald and began her tasks. She was about an hour in and noticed Julie wasn't there. That's strange, Sarah thought. She hadn't missed a day of work since I'd been working at the manor. Sarah went to Reginald and asked where Julie was. He looked at her with a smug sneer and said, "I don't know. She never arrived this morning, and it's no concern of yours. Get back to work, girl." "Yes, sir," Sarah replied, and went back to her chores, all the while thinking, this isn't like Julie. She's never missed work. And I just talked to her last night. She was fine, and she said she would see me in the morning. She was just as excited about tonight's party as I was. This just doesn't make sense. She approached Reginald. She asked again, where was Julie? She could see he was getting flustered at this point. "Listen, if you know what's good for you, you'll shut your mouth and get back to your business, girl." Reginald barked at her. Sarah was shocked. No one has ever talked to her in that manner before. But as she got to the kitchen, she replayed his words and thought about all the missing girls from the manor, and thought maybe something nefarious had happened to Julie. She went about chopping vegetables and tried to act as if nothing was wrong. But as she looked up, she saw through the window Lord Rivers and his assistants carrying something out of the cellar. It looked like an ordinary large cut of beef. It was covered, but it had the shape of a body. Just then, Reginald walked in and said, "Time to leave, everyone. It's time to prepare the main course." He turned and walked out, leading the other servants. Sarah started towards the door behind everyone, but at the last moment broke off and hid in the pantry. What is such the big secret, she thought. I have to find out. She waited for a few moments. Then the back door opened. The men plopped the hunk of beef on the table and walked out. Sarah opened the pantry door and slowly walked towards the shrouded hunk of beef. The smell was putrid. It smelled like it had been baked out in the sun. She turned back the shroud and felt her heart sink. It was Julie. My God, Sarah thought. She was in complete shock, her body gripped in fear. Just then a woman's voice behind her said, "I see you discovered our secret, dear. Welcome to the menu." Just then she felt a thud at the back of her head and the room went dark. It was another successful Rivers party at the manor. The wealthy wined and dined as usual. Before the meal ended, Lord Rivers' mother stood up and gave a toast to Julie and Sarah, the founders of the feast.